I'm Jessica from the J Partner Network. This question is for Jay. Can you tell us if the secret sauce has anything to do with buying right?
Secret sauce. Yeah, absolutely. You know, buying right is most important. And most people don't really buy right. Even though they think they are, they don't. And so, I can't stress enough, buying right is important. See, most people will buy 70% of value, right? Or they'll 70% of value minus whatever fee you want to make, and then whatever. So I believe that buying right is buying somewhere around 50%, 45, 50% of value. So if you happen to put 10, 15%, 20% in as far as repairs, and when you refinance at 70%, not only are you getting your money back, but you're getting some additional money back so that you can parlay to the next transaction. That's what's important. A lot of people get that wrong. So the market is thriving. And so a lot of people just base it on, I can buy this property at this price. Let's say you can buy this property at $200,000, and that's at the top of the market. And then, once you purchase that property, you're putting more money in it. So if you're at the top of the market, you put more money in it, where are you loan to value wise? You're probably at 100, 110%, 115%. So now you can't refinance because you over the 70%. Does everyone follow that? This is most important. Because you go out there, you're buying because you say, hey, the numbers work. The numbers work. Well, the numbers work based on, okay, this is my expenses, and this is what I can rent it for. That money there is not going to be the money that's going to take you to the next transaction. You need that cash infusion through the refinance to take you to the next level. Because if not, you're missing the boat. Because it takes you too long to accumulate money. You know, you try to save that money, you can't save it fast enough with the market going up as fast as it's going. Does everyone follow that? It's important that you buy right. She has to get you.
Okay, I wasn't done. One more question, Jay. Do you recommend purchasing off of the MLS, or how do you obtain your deals? Can you tell the audience how you typically obtain your deals in the buying right process?
You know, I don't have a budget as far as marketing, things like that, and so come from the school of NASA, where you know he's very frugal. I'm not going to say cheap, frugal. And so I've created a system to where people bring me deals. But it's through the system now. I'm not saying it's not it's a referral system. But I have laid it out to where these people call me with the deal. So if they're calling me with the deal, what competition do I have? I don't have any competition. Not only that, I'm getting the property on sale. Does everyone follow that? I'm going to give you an idea. This is how it works. So therefore, I create a list of people that I've had wins with, that I've done something for, or I helped them out on something. I created a win. And so what I do then, I call them because I was thinking about them. So I call them. How you doing? And they tell me how they're doing. See, it's always about them. Get this. It's always about them, not you. See, most of you are calling people and say, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm this and that, send me a deal. That's about you, not them.
Yes.
So when you make it about them, right? How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Well, I got COVID. Really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And so you talk to them about that. Just talk to them. And then at the end, you have a catchphrase. Hey, look, if you run into somebody that has a house or need to get rid of it or something like that, have them give me a call. Now, you do that over and over and over and over. Now, I'm not saying call this person every week. Don't be a stalker. All right? I'm saying call them, but you have a systematic way where you might be reaching them every 5 weeks or every 4 months, okay? And so in the interim, you're still staying in touch with them, with other means of staying in touch with them. And so every time I say something, I say, hey, listen, if you run into somebody that has a house and need to get rid of it or whatever, have them give me a call. You know what they hear? Like a good neighbor. Absolutely. So you have to plant that seed in their mind. Do you get it? Now, most of you are not going to do it. But I promise you, it's the most effective way that I find properties. Most effective. I had people guy called me right before Thanksgiving. He said, I'm ready. I said, for what? He said, I'm ready to get rid of this house. I said, a done deal. Let's sign it up. So I went and signed it up. This guy has been my carpet guy for 25 years. Does it make sense? We've had wins. These are people that I know. These are people that you know. See, you're making this harder than it really has to be. How many wins you have? You're throwing all that away.
That's great. I got 2 questions right here. So one is, how do you guys collect rent? Do you do cash, mail, do you do it through an app? Is it a property management company? Depot? Do you say Depot on the right?
Okay, so I know Jay has a new system that he set up, so.
I didn't set it up.
You didn't
I can't
set
take
it
credit
up?
for that.
You can't take credit. He has an immaculate system that's set up that basically collects rents, I believe, on Friday by 6 o'clock. If the money's not in, then it charges a late fee. Myself, I have various different forms, depending on what type of client I have. We do ACH, Zelle. We do have business Cash App and PayPal as well, and I'm not sure how.
So one of the things I look at is from a system and automating of things and scalability. And so with that said, you want to keep it as simple as possible. So as far as collecting rent, we use Cash App, Venmo, and our ACH to collect rent.
And then the next question is, do you guys manage these properties yourselves, or do you use property management companies?
So one of the things about it with the communal model, you can't use a traditional property management company because they're looking at things that we're not looking at, such as credit score. We don't care about credit score. So my advice to you is to train someone that can property manage your properties for you. And what that looks like is you doing it yourself initially, learning the ins and outs, and then training someone to place you.
I seen a YouTube video where the property was a conventional loan. Is that correct?
Correct.
How did you finance the renovations?
So outside of communal housing, I do blue collar work, landscape and construction company. So all of that funds was contributed to renovating of that property. What I did was basically, in layman's terms, was pay off the debt from that business and then cash roll that business funds into renovating the communal properties. So now at this point, I'm able to live off strictly that business, and the communals pay for themselves. So when I need renovations or to get a next property, the houses pay for themselves.
Okay, we got 2 more questions before we stop for networking. I think I got most of the people in the room, so what's your question?
Hello, my name is Isaiah Diggs. My question is, I'm in the beginning stages of my wholesaling business, and I'm looking for cash buyers. So my question is, from experience, what is the average cost of a full rehab?
There's not going to be an average cost. Like literally, full renovation in Charlotte a full house renovation can cost you anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000.
Per square foot.
Yeah. Oh, per square foot. I don't have that calculated. You guys have that calculated because it can really vary each neighborhood. Because in this neighborhood, what's going on with the gentrification, you can't do, excuse my language, but half-ass rehab. You ain't gonna do no half-ass rehab over here and think you're gonna get full market rate. No doubt. that renovation is going to run you with 100,000. I don't care if it's 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet or 3,000 at minimum renovation to get it up to those standards of what's in that neighborhood. So it's going to vary what you're going to spend on renovation per neighborhood. So if you're in a fancy neighborhood like what we're in now, this North End, so those renovations are going to be extremely expensive. No, the same thing, and it's working its way up. So it's really not an average cost.
No high and low, like maybe $25.
Nah, you're not gonna do 2,500 per square foot. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a possibility, but if I say, hey, yeah, it can run anywhere between 25 to 100, it's not necessarily helping because it's all gonna vary per neighborhood.
All right, so my question is, so I have a rental property right now. At this point, I'm ready to kick my tenant out so I can do the communal.
Hey, first thing first, I want them to know this information. How many beds and baths do you have?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. It's in Charlotte, and like near the Hunter. This is Simone. Probably can't see me around the corner.
Okay, so you asked how to get started. Are you living in Charlotte currently?
Living in Concord.
Okay.
But my rental is in Charlotte.
All right, so if you want to get started at 5:30 in the morning, we do a rise and grind. Nah, you have to just look at. See, don't assume that the communal model it'll work anywhere. I believe that it'll work anywhere, even outside of Charlotte. But to answer your question, you want to look at things such as bus line routes and what's accessible near you. And then just look at how many bedrooms to bathroom ratio you can get out of your property. So that way you know what you're investing and what your returns would be. The numbers will tell you which way to go.
Okay, so I think it's in a good area. It's near Huntersville. It's in Charlotte, but it's by the Walmart. I think it's in a pretty good area. Yeah, I've been to the Rising Line. So my question is, so how do I get started?
So, all right. Okay, so as far as the room rental, what she's asking, she has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. She's looking for some practical information on how she can get started. Does she put out bandit signs? What's the going rate per bedroom, etc.? Can
I personally wouldn't do a communal with 3 bedrooms, so it's not gonna make financial sense for me.
Because your expenses. So, you're gonna likely have to be 100% full in order to turn a profit. So you need to look at your expenses before, doing that, committing to that. Like Ozzy was sharing earlier, I think he said the utilities and what was it? Mortgage payment, cleaning, what else? Lawn service, all those things. You can tell I do that, right? Yes. Well, I mean, again, you got to look at what you can rent the properties for, right? And so at $900, you're probably going to add another maybe $600 to that, so you're at about $1,500. So, okay, so, right, so you probably want to look at it because it might be better for you to continue to just rent it the way it is. Because if you're looking at $1,600, $1,700, how much more can you get, right? You might get about $2,000, $2,200 a month, but then you're netting somewhere in the neighborhood about $500 or $600. So it's probably best for you to just rent it with a 3-bedroom, just a regular single-family rental. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can add on to the property, or I have never added on to a property, and we just use the compounds of the circumference of the property, and we have a little less than 100 rooms right now, and counting.
Okay, so we're talking about one more question on that. So what has been your biggest challenges with the
I can't think of it. I mean, You know, I see one of the things, and this is the biggest part of this. A lot of people, when they get into this, they want to compete. And it's not about competing. See, I create this stuff. And so if I create, I have no competition. Does that make sense? So if I can challenge you to create, but again, it starts with thinking. And so I create. Like when we're talking about the 2-1 ratio, this is stuff I created. Because we've done it. We've done this for such a long time. We know what works, what doesn't work. We have a group of people that we know what it'll rent for, what it doesn't rent for. We have a meeting, I say, okay, well, who's renting a room for $285 and then had that unit rented for a whole year? And then somebody said, well, I have. And then somebody said, well, who's rented something for $325 for a year? Nobody done that, so it's not proven. So it's not proven that we could get $325 as of yet, until somebody has gotten $325 for an entire year. Does everyone follow that? So we got the data. We got the data. Just like we do things that is unorthodox. See, and the attorneys, they probably can appreciate this. I went to a meeting and they were talking, they had a guy that was a landlord, and then they had an attorney there. And so the landlord had gone to court 96 times, and he's won 92 times. I said, he's in the wrong business. He should be an attorney, because he's failing as a landlord. Does that make sense? And so when I look at things like that, I said, well, if you got so many evictions going to court, and everybody's pulling credit reports, right? Everyone pulled credit report. And I'm like, okay, well, the credit report is not a true indication of how this guy paid. Because I had an apartment complex, and the guy, he had been there for 12 years, but he had a sub 400 credit score. What is that saying about him? It's saying that he'll pay his rent before he'll pay any other bills. So then I said, okay, if that's the case, we need to get information that give us a better insight about this person's finance. So I said, how many people smoke? And so if someone smokes, I ask on a questionnaire. See, they'll tell you the truth if you allow them to. And so I said, who smokes? And so when I asked that question, most of you thinking that's a social question. That's not a social question. That's a money question. I don't care how cold it gets. You're going to see those couple people out there smoking that cigarette, huddled up around each other. See, the average person smokes 15 cigarettes a day, five packs a week, $175 a month. That's an income question. Where is that on the credit report? It's not there. Have you seen that person that drinks coffee? It's, oh God, I can't do anything until I get my cup of coffee. See, coffee is an income question, but it shows up nowhere on the credit report. Does that make sense? So you have to find these things that are money questions and what people are spending their money on that's not on the credit report. And that's how we do it.
That's good.
That's how we do it.
That's good. Okay, we got 2 questions. We can answer it. Please, 30-second answers.
Hi, my name is Maggie Sandy-Bird. First and foremost, thank you guys for all the great info. My question is, I'm in a short-term rental play, and I do like the furnished farming thing with the travel nurses, but you know, communals, how much are you charging per week, per room? And do you have any communals that you're renting and not owning the home, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so I do arbitrage. So my company rents the property from the owner, and our In my communals, we start off at $200 and we go up to $265 per week per room. So we have a couple of rooms that are $200, $250, and $265 a week.
So in my communals, we start at $215 a week, and we do a $200 non-refundable move-in fee upon move-in. One of the things that you definitely want to look at is, again, the numbers. The numbers are going to tell you which way to go. One thing I will say just quickly, when you look at things like Furnish Finders and other apps, you limit yourself to them apps. So if that app was to shut down, is your business model obsolete? That's what you have to ask yourself. So you have to do your own marketing or your own lead generation throughout your company. And that's the best advice I can give you.
Okay, next question.
What's up? I'm new to wholesaling. I just got one question about contracts. I want to know, how do I set up a good contract, or what can I get to do?
All right, so I got free contracts at DoruContracts.com. DORUcontracts.com. DORU contracts, put your name and email in. They'll get sent to your email, and you download it to get the Word format, and boom, you got your contracts. I've used it. They've been used in most of America, and they work.
My name is Trey Sean.
Hey, Candace, this is the last one, Candace.
My name is Trey Sean. What if you had to start over? What steps would you take to get to what you want now?
Me, if I had to start over, first things first, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do exactly what I did. So, which was drive for dollars. Drive for dollars, looking for motivated sellers. I had limited money, and so I had to leverage my money the correct way. When I say leverage my money, meaning my marketing dollars, I had to make sure they count. I couldn't do mass mailings because I was looking for a certain person. What I learned from Jay, we're not looking for houses for sale, we're looking for houses on sale. So what I would have did, I'm gonna hit the pavement, drive for dollars. And I would go do, another thing I did when I first started, I don't do now, put out those We Buy Houses signs. Believe it or not, they work. However, Charlotte, damn near the whole Charlotte's been gentrified, so they probably won't stand up long these days. Because even back then, when you put them in certain area codes of certain zip codes of 28205, somebody would snatch them out the ground within 24 hours. But in most places, I would put them out on a Friday night so I can let them rock till Monday. So I have those people calling me. And I used to get one deal per month off of 100 signs. So that's what I would do. Just hit the pavement and do the work. And that's what will separate you from everybody else. Most people, they don't want to do the work. They're going to do it one time, and if it doesn't work, they quit. All right, so wrapping this up.
I just want to explain what driving for dollars is, just in case you don't know. It's basically driving around looking for ugly houses, boarded up houses, high grass, a house that looks like it's about to fall apart, basically. But yeah, a lot of you guys, and I mean this in the most heartfelt way, are overthinking it. Don't overthink it. Come up with a plan. First of all, we asked the questions about what type of person do you put? How do you determine that? They determined that because they said, I want to do nurses because nurses make good money. We all know that nurses make good money. We all know that nurses need somewhere to stay, especially traveling nurses. So they came up with a game plan. They said, hey, I want to work with traveling nurses mostly because they got the money and they need somewhere to stay. They came up with their clientele. I tell my agents all the time, write it down. What type of client do you want to attract? Write that down. Figure out what it is you need to do to market to that person. Don't ever distract or go away from the type of clientele you want to create. So make sure you create your clientele, write it down, and come up with systems. Y'all, a system ain't nothing but something you said you're going to do. Don't overthink it. Right now, you don't have money to pay for a system. Systems cost about $1,200 a month for one. They probably got systems that's costing $3,000 a month. Don't worry about the system that they're using. Figure out what clientele you want, how you're going to get them, every day. You can work in a Excel spreadsheet every day. You can, okay, today I'm gonna go to this property management company. I'm gonna go to this hospital. I'm gonna go talk to this person. Write it down and follow it consistently. That's how you're gonna build your company. It doesn't matter what type of entrepreneurship that you want to do. Don't overthink real estate. Everybody trying to overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's easy. We talk ourselves out of deals and out of money. It's not that hard. Just figure out what you want to do and do it. I know that sounds easier said than done, but that's really all you have to do. And a lot of us lack consistency. Like Nas said, if we do it, we'll do it for 2 weeks. Man, this ain't working. I done called 25 people that done told me that I ain't gonna call me and don't want to call nobody else. But the person that will tell you yes was probably in the next 50 calls you was gonna make, but you gave up on yourself. I'm gonna stop preaching. Go ahead, Nas.
All right, so listen, we're wrapping this up, and what I want you guys to do, right? This was a free meetup, and we're going to continue to make them free for the rest of the year. We take off December, ideally. However, you have to. I would like for you guys to make sure you speak to all the vendors, right? Network, but go to the vendors, get their flyers, get their information. Especially my man Andy in the back, man. We're gonna connect, bro. But yeah, definitely talk to all of the vendors, get their information, the network. First things first. I know I'm the face of this meetup thing, but Candace actually does all the work. So please thank Candace. Definitely, she's a realtor. So if you're looking to buy a property, if you want to sell something you own, talk to her. Also, me and DeAndre, stand up, my partner. We got Candace $100 gift card for some gas. Because she comes up here from Rock Hill to make all this work. She puts everything together. Obviously, I come in fashionably late, so please make sure you thank her. Second, another thing, I got some books over here. Is there anybody
wait, before you say that, because I asked earlier, I said, how many people are new? And it was like 10 people that raised their hand. So I know my man's right there raised their hand.
Okay.
And
I got it.
okay, but I'm trying to get them no, because they don't want to raise their hand. Right. I know you got it.
Okay, all right. So who is in Duru Squad that wants a book? Is there anybody in Duru Squad? If you're in Duru Squad, you want a book, please come up to the stairs, please. If you're in the Duru Squad is my educational program, and I want to make sure I take care of them. Isaac, could you give them a book for me? How many is it? 3? Thank you. All right.
Then you got to get them to.
All right. Now, who's the other 2 people?
Right there, the 2 right in the middle.
All right, 2 in the middle. The lady in the burgundy shirt, can you come to the stairs, please? Thank you, yes. Thank you. My man over there, you was, yeah, come over here, bro. I got enough this time. All right. Jay has some shirts.
Oh!